My name is Alistair McGregor. I've been the Member of Parliament for the riding of Cowichan Malhat Langford, first elected in 2015 and re-elected in 2019. And I have had the honor of serving as my party's agriculture and agri-food critic since 2018. So almost 4 years now, and I've also been a member of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Agriculture and Agri-Food. My interest in agriculture has been with me since before I was in elected politics. So I've carried a lot of that local passion with me into my role as a member of parliament. And in fact, my wife and I are very lucky to own a small farming property, which we are trying to, make sure we can feed ourselves off that land. So we have been, I guess, terraforming the land, making sure that we've got a variety of different crop trees and nut trees and different fruits and vegetables growing along with different animals. I represent a riding where food issues and support for local farmers is very prevalent. We live on an island here, so it's always top of mind, what would happen to our food supply if there was some kind of a disaster and we were cut off from the mainland, and it's not very good. So that theme of community resiliency has really stuck with me, and it has become more prevalent since we got into the pandemic, because the Agriculture Committee during that time was one of the few that kept operating over the summer. And so we kept on hearing from a lot of producers, from a lot of farmers, about the stress and strain that the pandemic placed on our supply lines. And people continue to need to eat, so there was a lot of pressure on how the pandemic affected those supply lines, how we in fact were getting food to restaurants, which then were closed down, but food to different communities. So I guess from my perspective and from my party's perspective, I think resiliency is going to continue to be that key theme, and that term can be applied in a number of different areas. Let's turn to climate change as probably the biggest one. What I've noticed in the almost 4 years that I've been the critic is that for every farmer who's come before our committee, they have all started to really underline the point that farmers are on the front lines of climate change. They are the ones that can be significantly impacted by it. They will, go through the various droughts and floods, and they have noticed the more extreme weather events are becoming more prevalent. So what I've noticed though is that when we talk about climate change, that invariably changes over to very heated discussions about the carbon tax. And so I've been trying to find a way forward between the liberals and the conservatives and their bickering over the carbon tax to try and find a different way where we actually recognize the important efforts that farmers are already doing. And so what I would like to see as a more general policy coming from Ottawa, and I don't want this to be an Ottawa knows best approach, but really one where Ottawa is augmenting and supporting what a lot of farmers are already doing, and that is really helping transition the shift to regenerative methods of agriculture. Now, for those of you who don't know what regenerative agriculture is, that is really a way of farming where you are paying particular attention to soil health, soil ecology, and trying to put more carbon back into the soil where it belongs and out of the atmosphere where it's causing havoc. There are a number of ways that we can do this. One of the best ways involves no-till and cover cropping. And it's really a way that we can actually turn our farms into one of our greatest tools in fighting climate change, because when you've got healthy soils, their ability to sequester carbon is greatly increased. Farmers will have better and healthier yields, and they will end up making more money, because right now a lot of the style of farming that we do have is high input, high output. So farmers And the National Farmers Union has done a lot of research on this, where our farms are going deeper and deeper into debt. In fact, the amount of farm debt has dramatically increased over the past 20 years. And if you look at the amount of money that farmers are spending on things like pesticides and fertilizer, diesel fuel, and even high tech equipment, it's a lot of money. It's in some cases occupying 95% of their total farm revenue. So if we try to reduce those inputs, that's going to mean a better bottom line for farmers, and it will also result in less outputs, like greenhouse gases that are coming from farm emissions. So in a sense, I'd like to say is that our approach is really just taking in mind building that resiliency and going forward in a better way, and helping farmers with that new approach.